stakeout.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is our second stakeout.
Well, third if you include pigeon-looking chicken.
I really wasn't including pigeon-looking chicken.
Okay, so then second.
Okay, so second. So, there's another mayor in town that likes to park his vehicle wherever he thinks he wants.
The last time I checked,
Yeah.
the Ark wasn't a self-parking service.
Or parking garage.
Parking lot where
Yeah, not a parking lot.
Voluntarily donate to park there.
No
valet parking either.
No valet. No.
Yeah.
Definitely not any valet parking.
No.
That's true.
No.
That's true.
I don't think Otter Creek, anyone in Otter Creek.
Were there any meters? Were there any parking meters?
There were no self-service meters either for parking.
Okay. Let's see. No valet, no parking meters, no parking garage. Steve. Not even a striped parking spot. Literally in the grass.
Right.
How about you turf up my lawn?
Yeah, I mean, to any normal person with a brain, it looks like an abandoned vehicle just left there.
Oh, well,
right?
I mean, we're talking about people with brains, George. We're not talking about mayors in small little tiny towns where they need the title of mayor to feel like they are somebody or have accomplished something. So
do you think it's because he's compensating for not having a 2-inch pipe?
Definitely compensating. Definitely. Mike Davis don't have a 2-inch pipe. Trust me, I know. He pushed it up against me.
Didn't look like it.
Yeah, definitely doesn't have a 2-inch pipe. Put it right up against me.
Hello, Debbie Vaughn. Thank you for the $2.
Yeah. I feel a little molested, a little violated, to be honest.
Violated?
Yeah, I was very much so violated.
I could see that.
Because his 1/2-inch pipe was touching me. So.
I mean, gross. I feel like I need to take a shower right now just hearing that.
I can understand. I can understand. I really can. Is that him?
Where?
We are on a stakeout at the old schoolhouse.
Yeah.
We're making sure nobody parks illegally. We're making sure nobody parks illegally on the property again.
The last time I checked,
okay,
the Ark wasn't a free-for-all to just do whatever you want.
Oh, it's not?
To meet up your friends
and
go shopping.
So you mean when it's the Ark's building and organization, you still just can't do anything you want?
No, I didn't think it was a free-for-all. I thought it was a school, a learning center for adults with, that are mentally
disabled, handicapped. Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes sense why they parked there then, because they share those attributes. I mean, they are challenged. They are challenged. But
in many
the
ways,
clients of the Ark are very, very special. We've had the opportunity to meet quite a few of them, and we've quickly fallen in love with them. They are fun. Donnie loves to dance. Oh my goodness, Donnie loves to dance.
Music is their medicine.
Yeah.
Once they hear music, they're just like, woo!
Yeah.
The last time I checked, the Ark wasn't a
all right. Apparently she's checking on things.
Park and serve, park and go.
Do you think they maybe parked and thought we were gonna serve them a meal because I'm Mike Davis of Cedar Key? Do you think maybe he thought we were just gonna bow down to him and bring a meal out there? We're gonna come out on roller skates and put a tray on his door and be like, anything you want. You're Mike Davis of Cedar Key. Oh my goodness, you're buddies with Russ the Sus.
I mean, communication clearly is not his forte.
Well, neither is large pipes. I mean, again, he put it right up against me.
Mary Dale, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I apologize for anyone else that I missed that sent a super chat. Max Lab, thank you so much.
Crazy
Kevin
week.
said he had a 50-cent pipe.
I don't think anybody would pay him 50 cents for his pipe, to be honest with you.
Mitchell, thank you.
Be honest with you. I don't think anybody would pay 50 cents for his pipe. So why don't we start with yesterday's video and we'll work our way backwards.
We could do that.
George, usually it's me giving all my thoughts, but my goodness, do you ever have some thoughts? Do you want to share with everybody while we're here on our stakeout? Waiting for Mike Davis.
Switch, thank you so much.
I'm Mike Davis of Cedar Key. Fat guy in a little shirt.
Elvis Presley Jr., thank you so much.
Do you want to give us all your thoughts in regards to what happened?
Maybe that's a Floridian thing to puff up like a blowfish.
Well, they like to make
Right.
you think that their pipe is bigger than it actually is.
Lori, welcome.
Yeah, they want you to think their pipe is bigger. So, I mean,
Definitely compensating. I mean, that's
absolutely compensating. Yeah, compensating. Huge compensation. And I ain't talking about a huge pipe. I'm talking about huge compensation because it's a small pipe. Yeah, absolutely.
Leslie, thank you. I mean, let's talk about that park job.
How about you talk about it? Because I think you are more mad about it than I actually am.
I'm not mad. I'm just more annoyed because of the fact that they've been parking there for 50 years.
Which, by the way, is a lie. But we're going to get to that. And
come to find out, they never had permission.
Oh, but we're going to get to that.
And so, I don't know. It annoys me because of the self-entitlement, the approach, how nothing was communicated. I mean, I don't know how they do it down south in Cedar Key, but up north we communicate. Even if it's done for 50 years.
You mean that's a regional thing? Only northerners communicate?
No, I think most people with a brain would know to communicate, like, hey, I'm dropping my car off here. It's going to be left here from this time to this time, versus just, hey, I'm going to assume that it's okay. Because what happens when people assume?
Well, what do you think happened in the video on Saturday? Somebody
what
was
happens
made
when you assume and you don't communicate?
Somebody was clearly made the butt of the jokes. So, yeah, that's very, very true.
So, needless to say, you saw in yesterday's video, we did finally remove the sign that was in front.
Which we never should have had to. So,
yes.
I said, hey, let's hear what you have to say. I want to say something very clearly. All right, so a lot of the fans, we've been getting mixed feedback in regards to how dare they even come onto your property without communicating to.
Right.
Well, if you put signs up, no trespassing, then it's your own fault because you didn't have no trespassing signs. So as you mentioned, putting the sign up. All right, let's back up a little bit. Number one, I want to state this so clearly. Even if you have said it with good intentions, oh, it's your own fault, you need to put up no trespassing signs, you're part of the problem, not part of the solution. So let me clarify right now, because some of you are like, oh no, you offended me. Well, I really don't mind offending you. I want to educate you. No individual should have to litter their property with no parking signs, with no trespassing signs, with chains across driveways that we have to get out during rainstorms to open and then close. No individual should ever have to put any signs up for anything. Now, let me back up. No school, no organization should have to put signs up for anything.
Thank you, Dan.
No, we would not have created the solution, and the problem would have never happened if we put up signs. These people are self-entitled. I've been parking here for 50 years. I'm Mike Davis of Cedar Key. You think he's going to care about a sign? And all that does is litter up and destroy the beauty of nature and the beauty of the building. Nobody should ever have to put up a sign. The issue isn't that we didn't have a sign. The issue isn't that the ARC sign is still up, even though we took it down. Let me clarify this very clearly for you. Number one, this building was built in 1928, okay? Horse and buggy days. There were kids there. Now, let's fast forward. If it was still the school.
Thank you, Mike.
Are you okay with random people parking in the school parking lot where your kids are going to school in today's age? Absolutely not. What's the first thing that's going to happen? They're going to get the cops called on them. Why is there a creepy car at the school? Think about where your kids go to school. Your kids, where they go to school. You okay? You drop them off and like, man, what's that creepy car doing there? No car should ever be in a school parking lot. That's not the students, the staff, period. Okay? So let's clarify on that. So first ownership was the school. It was the Board of Education's. Now, then there were a couple of years where it became the annex building. So it was used for storage. It was used for special projects. No vehicle should be on the school annex property while they have employees in there, and the employees have no idea who's out there for the safety of the employees.
Thanks, Chrissy T.
All right. Let's back up. You're like, oh no, well, it's your fault, Jeremy. They don't know it's the Ark, which Mike Davis said it would be nice to know it's sold. Let's clarify something. The entire county knows we own it. As a matter of fact, the entire county is watching. This individual knows we own it. The town of Cedar Key knows we own it. All these people do is talk about other people behind their back. Small-minded people talk about people behind their backs. Big-minded people with wisdom talk about ideas. How can we grow? How can we enrich our community? Dollar sales. How can we take the building? Can we do Christmas for kids? So let's back up a little bit. No school should ever have an individual just randomly parking their car on it. No Ark. Okay, so now let's go past. It went from Board of Education, it went to Annex, still Board of Education, with employees inside. Larry Watson was one of them. No employee should be out there going, uh-oh, what's that car doing here? No employee should ever be jeopardized with their own safety and feel unsafe. Then it goes to the Ark of Levy County. So the Ark of Levy County has had multiple people in the executive director position. All right. Ark of Levy County, education center for those with mental disabilities. No person should be randomly parking their cars in a facility for those with special needs, where one thing could flip somebody, where one thing could trigger somebody. No person. So don't give me this stuff of, oh, we didn't know. Oh, you could have had the solution to the problem if you had signs up. We wanted the sign up because it's part of the history, and I'll put any sign up I want on my own property, regardless of whether you go, well, you should have taken the sign down earlier. Listen, don't listen to this ridiculous justification of, well, it would have been nice to know. They all know. No individual should ever have to put no trespassing, no parking, and the list could go on and on and on. No randomly abandoning your vehicle without letting somebody know without permission on their property. Ever. You shouldn't have to litter your property with things that are so unsightly. And when you go into Levy County, here's what you see. No trespassing signs everywhere. Fences everywhere. Why? Because of these people. Mike Davis of Cedar Key. I've been here for 15 years.
Way to be a part of the community.
Oh, yeah. Way to be a part of the community. Oh, by the way, he's had permission, right? Wrong. All right.
When's the last time they donated? How is that being a part of the community?
Curious.
By parking wherever you want.
I'm curious when he's been donating.
Donation to the Ark. It just boggles my mind.
All right.
Boggles my mind. The vehicle was left there so that his wife can go shopping with her friends, or whatever it is.
Let's
I'm just
back
confused.
up a little bit.
I'm still confused.
You're more upset than I was. Like, you were ready to deck him and lay him out.
More annoyed than anything.
You were ready to deck him out. All right. So let's clarify a couple things. It's my property. Even if it wasn't my property, it was the Lark's property.
Correct.
Even if it wasn't the Lark's property, it was the school board's property. No random vehicle ever, ever, ever should be left in these types of facilities. Period. You want to park your car at a business where you have permission? Like the post office. Why didn't they park at the post office?
Post office is a hop and a skip away. It's right down the road.
Why would they not park their vehicle at the post office? I can't even begin to grasp. Or Herschel's. What if they went into Herschel's and said, hey, can I park my car here? That would actually make sense. A school? Like, stupidest, foolish thing. Who in their right mind abandons, and that's what it is, abandoned a vehicle at a school? Whether it was school for kids or whether it was school for adults who have mental challenges and they're learning to overcome those things. Or if it's the property owned by personal individuals, private ownership, doesn't matter. No sign needed to be taken down. No sign needs to be put up. What would have solved this problem before it ever was a problem is common courtesy and respect. An individual should come up and say, hey, can I park my vehicle here? Regardless if, 50 years ago I had permission. Who in their right mind parks a vehicle on somebody's property 50 years ago and doesn't tell them and update them every single time?
Right.
Now, here's one of the things that was going on. You don't see this in the video. We had limb walkers out. They dropped so many limbs right there where that vehicle was. And honestly, at this point, I wish I would have just had them drop them right on the vehicle. I should have, but no. We tried to be courteous. We tried to save individuals the towing fees. I could have taken my tractor and I could have taken the forks and I could have pierced right through that vehicle. I have that legal right. And yet you're going to go, well, Jeremy, they could have sued you. Yeah, you can sue me for anything. It doesn't mean you're going to win. I have that legal right because the vehicle is actually abandoned on my property. I could have hooked a chain up to it like you've seen me do in the past and drug it down the road, destroyed the axles, took a hammer and punched out all of the lights and had a tow truck come and get it because they abandoned it on my property. They broke the law. I didn't have to put signs up. I don't have to call the sheriff to try and save an individual money. I didn't have to do anything. I could have done anything. Do some of you people grasp this? Because we're getting comments all over the place. Well, Jeremy, you're supposed to be a Christian. Turn the other cheek. Do you understand Jesus Christ went into the temple and he saw that theft was going on and he flipped the tables of the money changers and he chased them out with whips? Jeremy, you're supposed to love thy neighbor. Mike Davis is not my neighbor and he's not lovable. Do you understand this individual with complete and total narcissism? Now we know. Comes out of the vehicle. What are the very first words he says? Now, keep in mind, what did I do? I walk up to him. I'm in a good mood. And
did we get it figured out yet?
Did we get it figured out?
Because
I put my hand out and shake my hand.
Was it abandoned? Was it broke down? Was it stolen? Someone took it for a joyride and just dropped it there? We were more concerned about
the individual who owned it. Now I'm not concerned at all. My goodness, if I ever see it again, I'm going to freaking flip it over with the tractor and I'm going to destroy it. Now, you're going to go, oh, Jeremy, that's not loving your neighbor. Jesus Christ went into the temple and flipped the money changers' tables and chased them out with whips. Understand the many aspects of Jesus Christ and the Jesus Christ I serve. And you're going to go, oh, love your neighbor. This is an unlovable individual. Wait, hold a second. Why are you telling me to love my neighbor, but you're not telling Mike Davis to love his neighbor? You know what? Your hypocrisy in comments sometimes are very, very difficult for me to grasp, and the ignorance in some comments are difficult for me to grasp because you try and talk about biblical things that you don't understand at times. Okay, you're like, oh man, Jesus Christ, you're supposed to listen. I know Jesus Christ. I've accepted him as my savior. Let me be very clear. I've accepted him as my savior not because I think I'm perfect, because I know I'm not. I need him. Okay, I'm a mess. And without him, I'd be even a bigger mess. And do I have a hot button? Yeah, the man touched me. And George knows. George already knows. If the sheriff wasn't there to defuse it, the man is lucky he still has a hand attached to his arm. The man doesn't know who he started with. The man doesn't even know who's on the property. So that being said, we've got a vehicle there. We got a vehicle and it's under the trees and we're dropping limbs on the trees. As a matter of fact, we can't thank limb walkers enough. They were out all day, ex-military, carrying, pointing,
they're in the chat,
ready to go. Limb walkers, you guys are amazing. You guys are absolutely amazing. And what you did for the property that day in prepping for the benefit of the bike run, we can't thank you enough. And the property is looking amazing. So Dan and Robert dropped tree limbs and fronds and everything everywhere. We dropped trees. There were trees we had to get out of there, everything. I really wish at this point, if I would have known, if I could have seen the future, I would have just told them, yeah, drop everything on the vehicle. Drop it all. But
because we've been doing it for 50 years.
Because, yeah, you've been parking here for 50 years. All right, go ahead for another 50. I got work to do. You know, not only are you holding up me, you're holding up other individuals, my employees. So let me clarify again. My responsibility is not to a random vehicle parked on my property and the individual who abandoned it there. And that's what it was, legally abandoned. Okay? It's not my responsibility. My responsibility is to the people that I employ, number one. So I'm going to be very clear. People that I employ, number one, Deanna. Okay? So Deanna is there and living in the home. My responsibility is her safety, number one. Number two, the people that are with me there. So you had Brian, you had Robert, you had Dan, you had George. My responsibility is their protection as well. Why is there a random vehicle on my property? And this is where the narcissism comes in. Because the very first words are, I'm Mike Davis from Cedar Key. It wasn't, you know what? I'm so sorry. I've had permission in the past. This is a misunderstanding. You know, can we work something out? It was.
That would have been the gentleman route.
This is not a gentleman. And as a matter of fact, if you Google him, as many of you have, and so many of you have shared so much about his past with us, this is a man who openly and publicly says, anybody who tries to come in from the outside and tries to change things, will run them out. So this is public comments from him. Go ahead. Google it. Have fun with it. We didn't know it at that time. We went and found this all out afterwards because we were like, why in the world would he try and emphasize he's Mike Davis from Cedar Key? Oh, because he thought he was somebody. I don't care that you're Mike Davis from Cedar Key. I don't care that you're Russell Meeks Sr. from Otter Creek. I don't care if you're a random fan and you're like, I love you, Jeremy and George, I love you. And you'll leave your vehicle on my property.
Abandoned.
My responsibility is to my employees and the people I have on the property, not to somebody who leaves an abandoned vehicle there and nobody knows what's going on.
Right. It wasn't an emergency. The vehicle did not break down.
And we gave the benefit of the doubt. Oh my goodness. I mean, how much further can we go? How much further can we go? This isn't like Mary going, I got mail, please come open my mail. This is, I'd really like to save somebody the towing fees. If you go through our history, go through our entire Otter Creek playlist, you'll see me pulling vehicles with a chain and towing them at the owner's expense. I don't have to put up signs on my property that says, oh, no parking, towed at owner's expense. I don't have to. I should never have to. Nobody should disrespect another person enough to abandon a vehicle on somebody's property. So, Mr. I'm Mike Davis of Cedar Key, narcissism, complete and total narcissism. That's what he was going for. You should know me. I don't know you, and I don't care anything about you. And when I shake my hand and go, hey, I'm Jeremy, and then his first words are sarcastic insult. It is a sarcastic insult. Great way of trying to fit in the community. Sarcasm and an insult. This is the way this man started, as I put out a hand to try and help. And then he tried to hit with a sarcastic insult. And from there, done deal. The man is lucky to still have a hand. Now, you're going to go, Jeremy, he assaulted you. Legally, yes, he did. He touched me. So, yes, Mike Davis legally assaulted me. Number one, he trespassed on my property. I told him to get off my property. Let's back up a little bit. Number one, a family member abandoned a vehicle on my property. Number two, I told him to get off my property. He didn't immediately. He trespassed. Number three, he assaulted me on my property. And let me tell you, it was everything in me to not destroy this man. I had every legal right. I had every single legal right to put him in his place. Every legal right. And this is what's going to happen. I mean, these guys with all this self-entitlement, I grew up here. I was born and raised. Listen, none of you are from Florida. I don't care how many years you've been in Florida. I don't care how many generations. Your family ain't from Florida. Your family came from somewhere else, just like everybody else does. None of you are from Florida. None of you. No matter how many years you trace back your family, you're not from Florida. Unless any of the original Indians are watching right now, or Native Americans, I apologize. Unless any of the original Native Americans are in the chat right now, you're from Florida. And we appreciate you, and thanks for watching. And we're trying to actually save some of your property. But what do you think limb walkers would have done? Robert and Dan. I mean, boy, they were ready. They were ready. Brian was ready. Deanna was ready. Listen, guys, these are all people that are carrying.
I think everyone would question the same thing. Why is there a random vehicle parked exactly where it was for no reason? Why was there no note? How come no one came knocking at the door to say, hey, heads up?
All right, plot twist. You guys ready for it? Here's the plot twist. Obviously, we keep in good conversation with the ARC staff, okay? And I want to clarify that they've been incredible. They've invited me to serve on their board, and I'm honored to serve on their board and serve their clientele and be a part of the change and the positive things that they're doing in this world. So I want to be very clear on that. The ARC staff have been incredible. So let me back up a little bit. The executive director is watching our videos. And I now have the opportunity to serve, and I mean that, it's service. It's to serve the ARC and the clients and the staff. I have the opportunity to serve on the board of directors for the ARC. And she texts me. Now we're gonna back up a little bit, okay? All right. And Madam Executive Director, if I'm not allowed to share any of this and you're watching right now, text me right now and say, Jeremy, no. But you never said that when you were texting me, and I think this is important. She said this, first thing, just seen your video. Paul was informed that we didn't own the property anymore. Paul never held up his promise last year with us. All right, so let's back up a little bit. That day, we're going above and beyond to clean up the property. Number one, for the community, but also for the benefit bike run, okay? And remember, Paul is the individual that ordered the outhouse, who then we were on the phone with and said, oh, I didn't know. This is what's really baking my beans. Completely and totally lied. Because the executive director, and I'm just going to say it like you've met her in other videos. The executive director sent me the exact, I'm just going to show it like this. You see this? These are screenshots of the emails to Paul. Okay? The screenshots to Paul. April 8th. She clearly said that, sorry, unfortunately, we have sold our organization property in Otter Creek. And that's a quote, okay? It says, Paul, good morning. Sorry, but unfortunately, we have sold our organization property in Otter Creek. And I'm not going to go on to read the rest of the email, okay? That's all you need to know. Paul ordered, this is what really bakes my beans, because I went above and beyond for this organization. He came at me the right way, right? But now I know he lied to me. He knew on April 8th that the organization had been sold and it was under private ownership now. So he lied to us on the phone. That it's a hard pill to swallow. Like I keep telling George, I'm like, I can't trust anybody in Florida. Like I literally can't trust anybody in Florida with anything. And that's not the kind of person I am. I'm a trusting person unless you give me a reason not to trust. So number one, Paul lied. Can you believe this? Paul lied. Now I'm gonna share more of this with you because I think this is important. I say this all the time. You have to be very, very, very diligent and use wisdom in who you support and what you support. And so, and she said he never held up his promise last year for us. And I said, what was Paul's promise last year? And she says, Paul straight up lied. I emailed him back on April 8th and I spoke to him both. Ugh. And he still goes with his plan. And she just texted me. No, she didn't text me yet. So I asked her, what did he not go through with? And he said, Paul came to us last year asking to hold this as a rest stop and have his own insurance and make a donation to the ARC, which neither he did. And then they had a biker get injured, and guess who they went for? The ARC. All right. That hurts. When you're a giving individual who wants to help others and you're found out, you're straight up lied to, and you're trying to help other organizations, and you're straight up lied to. He was supposed to provide us with insurance as well. Remember on the phone call, he said, oh, I had a certificate of insurance for the Ark. And he goes, but it says the Ark now. Well, she straight up told me he lied. And there was supposed to be a donation going to the Ark, and he lied. Neither of which were ever given. Why would the executive director lie to me about that? You could go, well, maybe she's lying. Why would she lie? Where's the benefit for her to lie? Why would she lie about such a thing? Okay? There's no benefit for her to lie. There is a benefit for him to lie because he wants that location. So, I never did get the certificate of insurance. It was a monsoon of a day with the weather, and there was people, buses, everything, where now I have this information and I'm going, never again. And I'm also going, who do I trust? And the answer is probably nobody, right? All right. So Paul lied to us. He had the information. He knew the property had already been sold. But Mr. Mike Davis of Cedar Key, he didn't know, right? It would have been nice to know. You know what? It would have been nice to be talked to about a vehicle coming on our property.
The vehicle was going to be dropped off and left there for hours.
Yeah, it would have been nice to know.
Maybe even days.
You know, we're driving over to his place later. We're gonna drive all the abandoned vehicles that all the meth heads keep dropping on our property. We're gonna start leaving them over on his property. Mm-hmm. You know, because
we can start a new trend.
I've been doing it for 1 hour now, and I'm gonna go for 50 years.
The goal is 50 years.
Goal is 50 years. I'm gonna start parking all the
Cindy.
Yep, I'm gonna start parking everything on his property for 50 years. Mm-hmm. Listen, no signs need to go up by us. I don't want to filthy up the property and make Otter Creek look any worse than it already does. I'm trying to clean up the town. What needs to happen is these people need to have respect for other people, period. Mm-hmm. So when you come and put a comment on a video and go, you could have solved this by putting up signs. No, it still would have happened. These individuals can't read.
The sense of entitlement after doing it for 50 years.
The entitlement blinds them.
Would have blinded them.
They think they own everybody's property and can do whatever they want on somebody's property. All right, so you're going to go, well, Mike Davis said he had permission. Mike Davis of Cedar Key.
From who? From who exactly? Because
that'd be nice. Somebody who died 50 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
Well, let's find out. Okay. All right, so this is with the executive director of the Ark, previous owner, right? All right. I said, do you know anything about Mike Davis parking on the property for 50 years? Will you be able to see it? You should be able to see it right there.
Kind of.
Do you know anything about Mike Davis parking on the property for 50 years? And she said, no, I have never known or have I personally given them permission to park there. You should be able to see it right there, potentially. Now, this is what she goes on to say. Please understand, no signs need to go up. You don't need to filthy up the natural beauty of Florida. We're not trying to create another junkyard with junk signs all over. You should never, ever in a million years have to put up no trespassing, no parking. Owners will be towed at their own expense. So she goes on to say this. And, well, number one, she said this, huge increase in donations on PayPal. We're nearly up to $7,000 for the Ark.
Ooh.
Thank you. Guys, that's from you. Plus, with the dollar sale, plus the proceeds from last week's auction, which we still need to get to the Ark.
Yep.
But I'm flying back this week, so I'll get that to Lisa when I come back. We're well over $10,000 for the Ark.
Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
So she says this. She says, there are some sketchy people that show up down there. She said, I had to call my husband several times, and the cops, when I've gotten there in the mornings for work, for odd vehicles just being there or odd people being there. And I said, I believe it. These people think they can do anything they want with other people's property. It's insanity. And she said, unfortunately, they do. It really is.
Well, the deputy even said that, which, by the way, Deputy Justin was so
awesome.
professional.
Awesome. If he wasn't there, Mike Davis would not have a hand attached to his body anymore. And frankly, he may not have a head. George already knows. I've already told George what move I was going to do. And I told her, I said, you look at the video and you see where I went. And she's like, yeah. And I went, this is what I was going to do. And I had to stop. And so she knows what I was going to do. And I stopped. Okay. So that being said,
he did a great job intervening.
He did. And mediating the process.
He was calm. And
so let's clarify.
We appreciate him.
Mike Davis did not have any permission, or his family any permission, from the previous executive director of the ARC.
So was that a lie then too?
Complete and total lie. Complete and total lie. So there you go. There's another lie. So the man or somebody in his family, number one, is trespassing, illegally abandoned vehicle on the property. Then he's trespassing, and then he assaults me. So you're going, Jeremy, are you pressing charges? Most of you are going, Jeremy, you need to press charges. You need to press charges. Most of you are going, I can't believe Deputy Justin didn't arrest him right there.
Right away, because it was done right in front of him.
So here's what I'm going to say. Stay tuned. Okay? Stay tuned. All right. Now, a lot of you, is that him right there? We have the drive where they came in blocked right now. We have it blocked with an RV, so nobody can actually come in that portion of the ARC. So it's blocked. It's blocked with an RV right now. So nobody comes over there again. So if you're driving by and you're like, oh man, what in the world is that RV doing? We're using an RV to block the entrance. Why do we have to use an RV to block the entrance of our own facility? Because people don't have common sense and respect. That's why. And by the way, if you're one of these tough talkers and you're a troll in the chat right now and you're like, blah, 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 why don't you come say it to me personally? I dare you. I swear I dare you.
You want them to call you personally?
Yeah,
the way
like my plumber called Russell. Why don't you come straight up? We'll settle it. Straight up, we'll settle it. You think you're so big and bad behind a keyboard. And like I've found every individual in Florida so far, they think they're going to run somebody off by all talk. And then when I go, all right, let's go. Let's go. And then they run off. Or they stick their fat dad bod out at me. Listen, I want to be very clear. There is nothing you have in Florida that I'm scared of. I've already wrestled and captured and released your nastiest and your gnarliest gators. Let's see. I've done things that you can't even imagine, which you don't know all of my past or my history. And you think I'm going to be scared of a 71-year-old man or some troll in the chat who's literally living in their mom's basement right now in a wife beater with cheese puff stains all over it. Man up. Man up. I've yet to see an individual try and cross me who can actually man up, except for one. I want to be very, very clear on this. And this is an accolade. This is giving credit where credit is due. When we first got to Otter Creek, we met Michael. And me and Michael, we butted heads. And me and Michael, we made a deal. And Michael and I have kept that deal to one another. And I made that same deal with Mary. Don't do anything foolish and I'll never have to record anything. And guess what? She keeps doing foolish things. But Michael is doing incredible things. And I'm proud of him. And I'm proud of the direction his life has gone. And he's making incredible decisions. And I want to be very clear that I support Michael and who he is and what he does for his family. And he had an accident a while back. We were praying for him. There is restoration. And I just want to clearly state that Michael's been an incredible individual. After we resolved everything, Michael's been incredible. And I want to clearly state that, okay? I also want to state that there are some incredible individuals in Otter Creek and Cedar Key and Levy County, okay? We have met some of the most precious, generous, giving, loving individuals.
Absolutely.
And you're going, well, Jeremy, why don't you see them? We don't have to film them because it's not an issue of accountability. They're good people. They're good people. The only reason why we're filming these other individuals that are breaking the law is for accountability. And now you have evidence for when you have to proceed with things. That's it. So there are some good people that we filmed. They're doing great things, such as, well, look at limb walkers, hanging out with them. You're going to see another couple from Florida, incredible couple from Florida. You're going to see them on Monday's video. You've got our good friends in Otter Creek. I mean, we could, all the business owners in Otter Creek we're friends with. And you go, well, why all the business owners? Birds of a feather flock together. These guys aren't the meth heads. They're not the druggies. They're the business owners that want to thrive and grow. So birds of a feather flock together. We want positive growth. We don't want a Walmart in Otter Creek. You're never going to see major development on any of our property. As a matter of fact, some know this. You know this. The property in Otter Creek will never be sold. When we pass away, it's deeded to another nonprofit organization. And some of you right now will be like, whoa, we're not building to build on a piece of property, and nor are our future plans for death anybody out there's entitlement information. But I'm sharing with you anyway. Like, there are people that sit there and try and go, why in the world does Jeremy have 2 wells on his property and city water? Well, if you go back through our videos, it's for Georgia's health. I had to put city water in for Georgia's health. But what they want to do is sit there and go back and forth.
Thank you, Ivan.
This guy's an idiot. Why would he do this? Why would I did it so she's alive. They want to go back and forth on why in the world is he doing this? Listen, you're never going to know why in the world I do things unless you're me. So pretty good to stop speculating, okay? The property goes to another nonprofit organization when we die. We're not putting a Walmart up, even if we joke about it because of these individuals. We do love to joke about it. And you even saw in the vehicle parking on the property with the belly bump, like, what's Mike Davis trying to prove? That he's fatter than me? Congratulations, Mike Davis. You won. You're fat.
A veteran dad bod, maybe?
Well, he's probably been working on it for 50 years. Okay.
All them Cheetos.
Well, just got to get him in a wife beater and we'll be all right. And so many have speculated, is he friends with Russ the Sus? And so many of you have already been doing reconnaissance and research and sending all the information to us, and you're finding all the connections and how it works, okay? Let's be clear. Do you know anybody in Levy County that doesn't know that we own the ARC building right now? Let's see, it's been on the news. It's been in the ridiculous news reporting, which is all fake news. Everybody in Otter Creek knows. Everybody knows everybody in Cedar Key from Otter Creek. All they do is talk about us. All they do is gossip behind our backs. Instead of,
so the word spreads pretty quickly.
That's one of the things that Florida can't take from me. I say what I mean and I do what I say. But these people in Florida, all they do is talk behind each other's backs, and then they want to puff up, and when it's time to really throw down, then they run away. So they're not used to a man that actually says what he's going to do and does what he says he's going to do. And I'm very plain, very, this is what it is. And they're not used to that, because what they do is, instead of telling you the way it is, they talk behind your back, and then they pretend to be your friend, and then they lie to you, like Mike Davis.
Thank you, Francis.
Who lied about having permission. So you were more upset than me. What upset you the most?
Well, like I said earlier, just the self entitlement of just being able to do whatever you want to do because you've done it for this long.
Is that Russ? I think that was him. Well, add one more to the tally right now of him creeping around the neighborhood.
Thank you, Kim. I apologize if I missed any super chats. The chat's flying right now. If I was given permission to park somewhere every year, I would communicate. I guess communication, the lack of communication is what upset me. Like, hey, heads up, is it okay? Or, hey, heads up, this is the day I'm going to do it. But the fact that the fact that we learned that it was his wife who dropped it off to ride off with friends.
We don't even know how long she was going to be gone. Maybe they were going to a weekend retreat. You parked a car right in front of an outhouse. You think maybe something might be going on?
I guess when I hang out with my friends, I either pick them up from where they live or they come to me. Like, I've never had to leave a car abandoned somewhere that's not like a public parking spot or a garage or someplace like the post office or a Walmart or anywhere but on the grass parked in a really suspicious area of a school. So that's what bothers me the most, because it wasn't an emergency. She didn't run out of gas. It was because she was meeting up with friends to go shopping or out to eat. I think that part bothered me the most. And then thinking that it's okay to just leave the vehicle there, again, with no communication, no note whatsoever.
And to be very clear, if we had any signs up, no parking, no trespassing, she would have done the same thing.
It probably
This
still
family
parked
would have
there.
done the same thing
Because they've been doing
I'm
it
Mike
for 50
Davis
years.
from Cedar Key, trying to inflate himself like he's somebody. Listen, you're from Cedar Key, Mike Davis. You're from a small community. You go out and you suck oysters. That's what your life is. Congratulations. You're Mike Davis from Cedar Key. How many lives have you impacted? How many people have you helped? No, what you did is did illegal things on our property. You want to fit in the community. I don't want to be a part of your community. I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be around people like you. This is a community here. There's almost 1/4 billion views on this channel from this community. This community has sent hundreds of thousands of items overseas.
Thank you, Green.
To help orphans. This community helps kids go to camp. This community has helped the Ark. This community is going to help with Christmas. This community helps people restore their lives that they lose in storage units. I don't want to be a part of your community, Mike Davis. I don't want to be anywhere near you. And if you're near me, you're going to get what's coming to you. What I want, and right now you're going, Jeremy, are you threatening him? No, I'm not threatening him. I'm telling him the truth. This is reality. This is when a man says what he means and then he's going to do what he says. Now, what his threat was, you ain't seen Rude yet. Did he threaten me? Yes, that's a threat. I'm specific. I'm very specific. He sets foot on my property again and he will not be able to walk again. I want to be so clear, so clear. Now, I don't want to be a part of your community because I don't like people like you. I like people like this in the chat. I like people about the What the Hales community who love people, who rally around people, who help people, who don't park on other people's property illegally and go, well, I've been doing it for 50 years and then lie about it that you somehow have permission. Oh, it would have been nice to know. You already know it's sold hands. Such BS. Complete and total BS. So you go, Jeremy, they're just trying to get to you. Obviously, I get that. And some of you are going, Jeremy, you're going to miss Florida when you leave. Heck yeah, this has been a ton of fun.
Welcome, Virginia.
George knows I'm ready. I have not let loose on somebody yet, but George knows, man, I can't wait. Like, the part of me that says, hey, Mike Davis, you come on my property again, no trespassing. But inside, I'm going, oh, please, please, please. And she knows it. She's like, nope. And I'm like, yep. And she's like, nope. And I'm like, yep. And I'm like, he deserves it. And she's like, nope, you're an instrument of mass destruction. You are a lethal weapon and I'm not unleashing you. And I'm like, yep. And she's like, it ain't worth it. And I'm like, yes, it will be. So there's that whole part of, I need Jesus because I'm ready to rip this person apart. I need Jesus. Hold me back.
I tell you all the time, it's not worth it.
Yeah, but you wanted to see it. You know it. Just admit it. You
It's
want
not.
it.
It
She
really
wanted.
isn't.
She was more mad than I was.
It really isn't.
She is more mad than I was. So crazy. She was more mad than I was. And the reason was we were doing everything we could to help somebody. And then the interaction starts, shake my hand, and the interaction starts, great way of fitting in the community. I'm Mike Davis, Cedar Key, great way of fitting in the community. Complete and total
So
insult
for
and
most
sarcasm.
People, thank you, John.
All right, how about not being
For most
rude? How
people,
about you
it
contact
would rub
somebody?
people the wrong way. and he didn't think that was rude, but if someone approached him that way, I'm pretty sure he'd feel the same way.
Now, Russ the Sus is probably feeling right now, whoo, oh man, the heat's off of me. No, not even close. Not even close. Just so you guys all know, they'll be served this week. Everybody keeps saying, when's the lawsuit? When's the lawsuit? When's the lawsuit? There are going to be multiple and many, okay? Multiples and many. They get served this week, lawsuit number 1. So Russ the Sus is not off by any stretch of the imagination. There will be multiple and many. It'll be a domino effect. So I'm sharing more than I should right now. Okay, my lawyer right now would be like, Jeremy, shut up. But I'm sharing with you because you know they're watching too. It's going to be a domino effect. One is going to hit the other. They're all going to fall. So one of many. First one gets served this week. Russ the Sus.
Wait, look.
Lights coming. Lights coming. Oh, I wish he would come. I wish he would.
Thank you, James. Welcome, Judy.
So Russ the Sus is not off the hook. Mary is not off the hook. Richard is not off the hook. So some of you said, oh my goodness, you can't film Richard. Yes,
Thank you,
I
Michael.
can. He is an employee of the town. He is a government employee. And you go, oh my goodness, how dare you try and... Some of you are like, go get him, Jeremy, go get him. Some of you are like, how dare you try and film him while he's doing his job? Do you not understand they're stealing from me? The one thing I need is to film Richard, which he's being filmed anyway, but he's behind the fence. And you're like, oh man, put a trail cam in front of the fence right by. He's being recorded by everybody. What I need is him actually doing the reading for court because he's part of the corruption. Don't you guys get that? Some of you guys are going, oh my goodness, Jeremy, would you just leave that man alone? He doesn't want to be filmed. He doesn't get a choice. If he doesn't want to get filmed, he quits his job and he goes home and he gets another job. He's a government official. He's a town employee. He's doing his job. And I have every legal right to record him reading my meter because that's the legal issue, my meter.
Thank you, Gina.
Jeremy, how dare you? I would never want to be filmed.
Him not wanting to be filmed made me question, well,
even more suspicious.
Was he going to tamper with it if we weren't filming?
I mean, you literally can get out of the truck, say nothing, no matter what I say. You can say nothing, lift the lid, read it,
meter,
write it down,
and
do your job. And if I record it and you did it right, guess what? You're not in trouble.
You're not hiding
When
anything.
you're a fool
Welcome,
and you don't do your job, you're hiding something.
That's when it looks
like I cannot wrap my head around how much these people in this area incriminate themselves, including Mike Davis. I cannot wrap my head around it. Like how stupid, how foolish, how ignorant. What he should have done is gotten out, did his job. There is no sense of privacy. You're a public official, do your job. I'm going to watch you do it because this is an issue of the courts at this point.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Brian.
And if you're going to do your job right, you're not incriminating yourself. If you're going to do your job wrong, you're incriminating yourself. I mean, come on. How hard is it? And what does he do? Refuses to do it. What did you just do?
Thank you, Marcus.
You just incriminated yourself even further. And my mind, I literally, every video I'm going, I can't believe these people. All they do is incriminate themselves. And they're watching. And what do they do next time? Further incriminate themselves. That's the ignorance of these people. Like, I'm literally telling you, you're incriminating yourself. You would think they would go, I better stop incriminating myself. And I tell you, you're doing it. And I'm going to use it against you in court. And what do you do? More! Can you write this stuff? Like, this is crazy. You cannot write this stuff. You cannot write this stuff, but my end goal is put an end to all of this. For me, it's a line item in a budget to pursue all of this. For them, it's their livelihood. And I don't mean that as a derogatory. I mean that in the aspect of, I'm going to see this through on behalf of all the individuals in Otter Creek. And if Mike Davis wants to be a part of it, he's now a part of it. So be it. Let's go. Let's roll. I can't wrap my head around it. Like, how could you even script this stuff? Like, some people are saying, they're like, there's no way this is true. Jeremy must have hired all of these actors. Number one, who has enough money to hire actors for an entire town? All right. I don't. The money I make, I don't draw a paycheck. I give it away. I give it away to charities. I give it away to people in need that I'm passionate about. I don't give it away to the people across the street that go, I need money. Or a Mary who goes,
Thanks,
I need
Daniel.
money. And individuals that aren't willing to do things for themselves to actually create money for themselves, all they do is suck from other people instead of create a symbiotic relationship with the community. I give it to people that have a need and that I can see where it's going and what's happening with it. I don't draw a paycheck. I try and invest it into people and into communities that I'm passionate about. Who in the world could afford to get actors for an entire town? That's how ridiculous this place is. And everybody's going, Jeremy, you know you're having the time of your life. Yes, I am.
It definitely hasn't been a dull moment in Otter Creek.
There's never a dull day. Like, George said, you want to stay longer? I'm like, yes. Are you kidding? I want to know what these fools are going to do next. Oh, Michael, the Olight promotional code is in all of the video descriptions. In all of the videos, you'll see it. It's right in there. I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
Not this particular live, but in...
It will be in this live later tonight.
Yes.
But once we get back to the ranch and we get everything in there. Like, you can't write this stuff. You could never make it up. And people think it's so crazy they must be actors. And they want to know, are you going to sell the Netflix rights? Maybe. We have producers contact us all the time for TV and for TV deals, and we've never said yes
I can
yet.
see the title now. 2-inch Pipe King.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah. And
You
Russell is going to be the Carol Baskins of
Otter
Creek. He's the Carol Baskins. Your plumber called me personally. Or would that be Mary Mary? We need money.
How much are we going to get?
Or would that be, I'm Mike Davis of Cedar Key. Congratulations. Who cares? Now, some of you may be thinking, well, Jeremy,
I should have offered him a cookie.
Yeah, here's a cookie. Mike Davis of Cedar Key. Some of you are thinking, but Jeremy, when you were on the phone with Paul, you said, hey, you're an internet celebrity. Okay, listen.
Thanks, Skulls.
Regardless of what we are, the only way to clarify, if you tell somebody I'm a YouTuber, what does that mean to most people? Nothing. If you say I'm a social influencer, what does that mean to anybody?
Not much.
Nothing.
Yeah.
The only way that George and I have come up to be able to explain what we are is
in layman's terms.
Layman's terms is we're internet celebrities. Now, you may be going, oh, Jeremy, you think you're big stuff. Listen, I wear the same pair of clothes every single day. I don't think I'm big stuff. As a matter of fact, I think it's ridiculous that anybody even watches our videos. As a matter of fact, I rarely will ever even do autographs, because I think it's ridiculous that anybody wants our autograph. I think it's silly, but we'll do it if you really want it. So I don't think I'm big stuff. I'm a normal person. I wear the same pair of clothes every day. And it's the only way to actually clarify and communicate, hey, this is kind of where we're at. Mm-hmm. We do have one of the largest channels on YouTube. It's in the top 1%. It's even actually bigger than that. It's in the top half of the 1% of channels on YouTube. So there is some significance there, but we don't define ourselves by that significance. I mean, if I was a walking billboard like, oh, I'm Mike Davis, I'm Mike Davis. I didn't go up to Mike Davis and be like, I'm Jeremy Hales of What the Hales. What the Hales are you doing on my property? I went, hey, I'm Jeremy. When I'm talking to Paul and going, this could be a prank, we don't know, what you don't know is what happens in our daily life that we never share with you.
Correct.
And you got a little bit of a glimpse of it there.
Thanks, Soup Freak.
You got a little bit of a glimpse of it there. And there were other people who were like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you gave your address out. Obviously new viewers, because we had a dollar sale and gave the address out. Like, why in the world would you give your address out to everybody? Because we wanted them there for the dollar sale. To benefit the Ark.
Yeah.
How much money did Mike Davis give to the Ark? You want to guess?
In the last 50 years?
In the last 50 years, how much money has Mike Davis given to the Ark?
Considering that he has a 50-cent pipe, 50-cent-inch pipe.
Yeah, that was...
It's a good question. Is that a trick question?
It wasn't supposed to be a trick question.
Oh, wait.
But...
Look. What's that?
It definitely doesn't look like a 2-inch pipe. It's much, much smaller. Much, much smaller. Much, much smaller. So, that's what's going on in Otter Creek. What else you want to say?
As the Otter Creek world turns.
So does our life. It turns.
It doesn't stop there.
And George wants to stay even longer.
Thank you, Adam.
How much longer do you want to stay on our stakeout?
You tell me.
As long as it takes to put these people in jail.